Welcome back into the Insiders. I am James Ham, Jesse Tapia joining me, Joe Brazil behind the glass. We are the Insiders, brought to you by Jiffy Lube, and hanging out with you until noon today. Send it over to D'Lo and Casey, and we'll have the handoff a little while. Jesse, I'm watching this Thunder team, right? And mention a little bit, but like they have a big three, and to me, like first of all, Sam Presti's an absolute genius.
Yeah, it worked out. He got it right.
He did. Okay, so this is the second or third time he's built a team like this.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's always interesting to watch because he's able to build through the draft. Now, he's able to build through the draft in a different way than anyone else that I've seen, where he accumulates so many assets that when he does go and start drafting, he's got like, he's not throwing 3 darts at the dartboard. He's throwing all kinds of darts at the dartboard, and some 1 or 2 or 5 will hit, right? So it's a different way in which they collect assets. They do a lot of they get well below the cap, and then they'll take on bad contracts and first round picks. They'll take on, bad contracts and take on a second round pick. They just start accumulating assets in such an interesting way. But the thing that I wanted to point out is that like when he built the Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden trio before, that probably if they would have kept them together, probably would have competed for a championship.
Oh yeah, not probably definitely competed for championships, no matter if they would have won it or not. I guess, right?
Yeah, that would have been the big question, and they
Yeah.
would have gone up against the Golden State Warriors during their heyday, right? But first he was able to build that one.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's come back and he reset, and they made the playoffs, but then reset again because that team wasn't good enough with Russ and with Paul George. Then they've rebuilt this thing again. And to watch the way that not only has he got himself to a point where he has a big three, but his big three is so distinct this time. The number one, it's all two-way players. What Shea, Chet, and Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams made second team All NBA defensive team, right?
Yeah.
Like the way that he's like rebuilt it this way, as opposed to having James Harden and Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant was a great defender, but Russell Westbrook was an okay defender. He had a good steal guy, but not a great man on defender. And James Harden's always been a horrific defender. It feels like he keeps learning and he keeps building this different thing. And I think the way that the Thunder this time are built is unique in the way that even salary structure wise, I think you're going to be able to sustain this because you have a legitimate number one, you have a legitimate number two, and you have a legitimate number three. And it's almost like they understand the pecking order. And sure, Chet is going to get paid at some point, but I don't think he's going to get paid like a legitimate number one or number two, which is what they ran into the first time. When it's like, hey, we've got 3 legitimate number one guys here.
Well, yeah, because you mentioned that, like, Hartenstein's not even on a bad deal, and then Lou Dort, I'm pretty sure, is on a team-friendly deal as well.
Well, that and all the other guys, they've locked up.
Yeah, like everyone, like you said, just no one is overpaid, or they're not in a Celtic situation where 2 guys are the highest paid in the league. Derek White's making 30, or Drew Holiday's making 35, and now you got to kind of get guys out of here so you can not get tied up in all your picks and all that. Like, yeah, everyone's paid what they need to be, and like that's why this kind of feels more sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like you said, I don't think Chet's going to get the Supermax or anything like that. Jalen Williams is not going to get a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander type of deal. Like, it's something they could probably keep around for a while.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think we looked at it. They're at 172 million in dedicated salary for next season with 13 roster spots taken, and they still have first round picks.
Yep.
And like just the way that they've been able to maintain, like the luxury tax this season is at 172. The regular, I think the salary cap is at, I want to say it's 155 or it's going up to 155. But either way, like they're going to be a good, I don't know, 10 to 15 to 18 million under the luxury tax again. So they can continue to do this thing where they take on other bad contracts.
Yeah.
They can take on a $10 million contract without blinking an eye, use their mid-level exception, and take on another first-round pick. Like it's incredible the way that they've built a sustainable winner. And my question is, like, number one, like, can is there a way for the Kings to do something like this?
You want me
A-
to answer that now or
well, go ahead. Yeah.
no? I don't know. No, nope, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, just the timelines don't work. You don't have a first round pick this year, so we probably have to skip another year. It's just I need to be I really need to be talked into what the Kings are doing going forward. Truly. The way
Okay.
I see it, the team they really needs a rebuild. But like if we're tying it into can they do what the Thunder did? No, I don't think so, honestly. I don't see it. Like are we just like if you're sticking around with Domas and Zach Levine, because like I'm assuming that's the case and all that, like I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening given the timelines and all that.
Okay, so I think that there is a problem with timeline, certainly,
Mhm.
and like 2 years from now, the Kings look totally different. Whether they extend Zach Levine or his contract just expires, but you'll have the same thing. Like by 2 years, Jonas Valanciunas won't be here, DeMar DeRozan won't be here. You're even going into the final year of a 4-year deal for Malik Monk, and he's got a player option.
Yeah.
So, like, there is a possibility that 2 years from now, this team looks completely different than it does today. I'd also say this summer, there's a total possibility this thing gets reset, and not like I don't think that the Kings are ever going to be in a position where they reset all the way back, like the 2016-17 Kings, right? At the midpoint of the 2016 season is when they trade. Well, it starts with Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gay, popping his Achilles, but then they end up trading DeMarcus Cousins. They end up trading Omri Caspi. They waive to Matt Barnes. All these things happen at the trade deadline, and they just tank the whole last half of the season. And it doesn't like that draft ends up being one of the biggest disaster drafts ever. But they did pick up Buddy Hield in that trade, and they did pick up a future first round pick, which they used in 2017. Um, to me, like they tried the whole rebuild thing
Mhm.
and the start young and try to build that way. And, again, between 2016 and 2017, they had 6 first round picks and a couple of early seconds. And of that, you got Yorgos Papagiannis, you got Malachi Richardson at number 22, you got Scalabiciere at 28, you got Fox, who you hit on, but you swung and missed with Justin Jackson at 15, Harry Giles, you swung and missed with at 20, and at like 32, you got Frank Mason, which you. So of all of those players, one of them.
Yeah, you just named the Kings' problem right there. It's not even the fact that they haven't fully tanked or rebuilt or throw in whatever process you want to throw in. It's the fact that they don't pick the right guy ever. Like you've had the 28th pick, you've had the second pick, you've had the fifth pick, you've had them all 10th. Blah, throw them out. You've had them all. They just don't pick the right guys, and
Yeah,
that's why they are where they are. It's not because of a rebuild or because of a tank. It's because they just never pick the right guys, and that like I don't think that's why they can't be like the Thunder, but you've kind of got to a point here where you're stuck with a Sabonis, and now you're stuck with a Levine, and you're just kind of makeshift the whole time now, where you can't do what the Thunder are doing because you're trying to build around Sabonis. So you're still trying to get to the playoffs and all that. Like there's no, it's just that's why it can't work. I feel you
yeah,
kind of put yourself in this position now.
it's interesting because you talk about they take the wrong guys because
Mhm.
I didn't even talk about 2018 draft.
Yeah,
And that's where they pass on Luka Doncic and draft Marvin Bagley. Like it's just been like one mistake after another. And then when they do hit, they hit on Halliburton with the 12th pick. They end up trading him. But then again, after that, like the Davion Mitchell pick, like this isn't a knock on Davion. It was the wrong pick for the Kings.
yeah. Davion's a fine basketball player. He found his home. Looks like in Miami, where he's thriving in the right role. Like it's not Davion's fault that the Kings picked him, and it's just a spot where it just didn't make sense.
No, totally. And I'd say the same thing about Devin Carter.
Mhm.
Like you drafted Devin Carter to a team that already had number one star level point guard playing 35, 36 minutes a night. He's not going to play point guard. You had your backup in Malik Monk, who was also your star, six man. You've already got a young guy in Keon Ellis. You've got a veteran in Kevin Herter. Like you have all these pieces already in place. Like there was no pathway for Devin Carter to play this season, even
Mhm.
if he was healthy on day one. Like, so there's always this question of like, what exactly are you trying to build? And I'm glad that there's a reset
Yeah.
and we get to see what Scott Perry can do. Of course, he is one of the orchestrators of the 2017 draft, which just went, again, the reason why it went sideways is because you had the 10th pick, you traded for the 15th and the 20th. If you were to stay the 10th pick, which is where Zach Collins goes, but Malik Monk's next pick, number 13 is Donovan Mitchell, number 14 is Bam Adebayo. You had an opportunity to bookend De'Aaron Fox and have a backcourt mate in Donovan Mitchell, or have his college teammate front court star center and Bam Adebayo. You had that opportunity, right? But when you missed there, then you missed again on John Collins at 19. Then you missed again on OG Anunoby, who was I think the 23rd pick in that draft. You missed on Kyle Kuzma, who's the 27th pick in the draft. It's like so many times you missed. But again, I'm kind of intrigued to see, because at this point, I don't think the Kings are that far away from a complete blow up. Like, if you might be able to trade Zach LaVine at midseason, because he'll have an expiring $49 million deal on the backside, 1 year left on his deal. I think they will be able to move away from DeMar DeRozan this summer. And it's just, what can you get for those players? Can you move your timeline back? Because that's where I think the biggest issue is that not only did they change the direction of their team when they traded De'Aaron Fox, but they also messed up their timeline. There's a big go ahead.
It's I feel they need to go backwards in order to go forwards first. I think they need a rebuild. I'm not saying you need a 10-win season and just tear it all down or anything like that, but you probably need to look at what you have there and see what you can get for it rather than building off of it. Like Domantas Sabonis, I've been a big trade Domas guy. I don't think he's a bad player, but I just, for what they have and how they built around me, it doesn't work, I feel, and all that. I don't buy into the whole we'll trade for a player, kind of build around this still and try to be better than a play-in team and get into the playoffs and all. I don't think what they have is sustainable beyond maybe 1 or 2 years, if that's the plan, to try and win now still and all that. I do think you do need to look at trading guys and kind of, like I said, taking a step back. It doesn't have to be, we're the process Sixers or anything like that. But you're going to do this for 2 more years and then just restart again, or I just don't see the long-term vision here with what's going on.
I understand.
Maybe we talked into it as well. Like, maybe you bring in a John Moran or a Trae Young, because if you do bring in someone better than Domas and Zach LaVine, maybe I can start to buy into that a little bit better. But again, that's all just kind of pie in the sky, I feel like, at this point.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I see the fault in it, but I'm on the other side of the coin when it comes to Domas. Like, I look at Domas as like a very simple player to build around. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they can't build around him, or that they didn't build around him, I just don't think that just wasn't good front office play.
I said it before the show when we were talking about what we had going on today. It's like, you could have won playoff rounds with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. Like, I don't know if you would have won rings or anything like that, but I could have seen you get into the Western Conference Finals, second round, all that, if you just built the team the right way. And now it's at a point where last season, that was just a big old mess that you just, here's guys, it's a big old jump mess, throw it out there, see what happens. It didn't work. And now you're just kind of picking up the pieces. You lack wings, you lack a point guard. And it's a lot of just, I guess, unfinished puzzle pieces, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, it does feel like it feels like a puzzle without the corner pieces. Mm-hmm. You've got 1 or 2 of the corner pieces, but you don't have the other 2. And like, if you build puzzles, the first thing you usually do is frame the thing out. Yeah. Right. So
dog chewed up on one of the other puzzle pieces, so that doesn't work here.
Yeah, it's like someone kept stealing one of the puzzle pieces, and you kept getting to a certain point, and you couldn't find that piece that you're missing, and you're like so frustrated by it.
It's just a big old mess.
I do think, like, you brought up, like, the Wade Sabonis. If Sabonis is your third best player, let's just say, again, if we're trying to look at different builds, if he is your version of Julius Randle, and he's your third best player, which is what Julius probably should be, and I agree with you there, I think you can build this thing. Like, and I don't think, again, being the third best player, I mean the third leading scorer.
Yeah.
Like, he can be the guy who's averaging 19, 20 a game like he does every other year. But I do think you need 2 other top line scorers to go with him, because he is a player that can be shut down and can have difficulty scoring in the post on occasion.
Yeah, like I don't think he's a bad player by any means. He's an all NBA player and all that. It's just, for what you need in the playoffs, you just need a better scorer than Domas.
Yeah, I think you do. And so I think the other thing that you need to do is you need to establish a system where a guy like Keegan Murray might be able to try to reach some of the heights that a Jalen Williams is reaching.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about that earlier, where it's like you almost need to force feed the guy.
Yeah, my big old plan for Keegan Murray is literally, buddy, we have no one else here to take the shots. You better get 18 up, or we are not winning any ball games this season.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm like, it's kind of at this point where it's like, I'm tired of, come on, Keegan. Nah, just go do it. Like, just, you have no choice but to kind of be productive here. Like, Keegan Murray has all the potential in the world. It's just, they got to figure out a way for him to realize it. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to happen truly, because he's not an aggressive player or anything like that. But like I said, I'm at the point where it's like, all right, you have no choice here. Like, we need you to get these shots up.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that's a good plan or anything like that, but it's just extremes, I think, at this point with him.
I hate that they wasted a year of his development by bringing in a player who, like, and this isn't, the fault of DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is exactly who you thought he was.
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan did what DeMar DeRozan's done for his Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, but if you're a good GM, you know that that's what he does, and that doesn't fit with what you're trying to build. And I guess, like, desperate times call for desperate measures, and I think that that's what that kind of was. You'd swung and missed on maybe three other options at that point.
Yeah, Doc chewed up on one puzzle piece, and Monty McNair said, hey, there's a puzzle piece from this other one. Try to make this work. No, yeah. Monty, it's not. This doesn't work for this puzzle.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, the color scheme is wrong.
Yeah. It's completely different. We don't play this way.
That's right. Like, you can see the error in the ways. Yeah. Like, I think that the thing was going the right way. And then when they lost a little bit of control of what was happening and they swung and missed, then it was like, all right, well, we've got to bring in somebody. We can't just run it back again, because people are going to complain that we ran it back again. I'll make the argument again. I honestly believe that this team this season would have been better with Harrison Barnes on it than it would have been with DeMar DeRozan.
I won't even fight you on that, because they won 46 or whatever,
46 a year before. Yeah. And I know that's
a matter of fit and rhythm and playing just on the same page.
Yeah. And we both saw this clip. Who was that? Was that Jeff Teague?
Jeff Teague's podcast, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Teague was going off about Jalen Brunson dribbling the ball for 17 or 18 seconds of the shot clock, and how it just kills the flow and the rhythm of everything. And it's really horrible as a teammate to sit there and not know, like, you might get a shot, but chances are you're not getting a shot, and it just ruins the flow of everything.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like with DeMar so often. And it's probably because I've covered the Western Conference for so many years that I'm used to flow basketball more than what the Eastern Conference, usually provides.
Well, yeah. Go ahead, finish.
No, go ahead.
I was saying, you bring in a guy like DeMar DeRozan, you have to realize too, as whoever in the front office, we have to make other moves as well to make this all work. It's not even more so like DeMar DeRozan just killed everything. You didn't do anything after that. So of course you can't just, hey, DeMar, we play basketball this way, so we'll see. Like, no, you needed to make other moves to make it all work, rather than just bringing DeMar. It's like, all right, we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it could have worked with DeMar if you made the moves necessary too.
You mean trading 3 second-round picks to acquire Jalen McDaniels, and then
one of the McDaniels,
and then trade him?
Yeah,
that wasn't the plan that you're talking about.
I don't know what the hell last year was, James. I'll tell you that much.
It's disappointing because they were so close, and now they're so far. And I think that that's where everyone is like so shocked and like taken aback. Like, it didn't feel like this is where it had to go.
Yeah.
But that's where we are. That's where we are. All right. Well, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to add in the Indiana Pacers into this conversation, because I think that they are another team that the Sacramento Kings could try to emulate a little bit. But there's just a long ways to go to get there. We are the Insiders, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. I'm James Ham, just tappy over there. Joe Brazil behind the glass. We'll be back in just a second.